The engine hummed softly beneath me as I navigated the winding road that cut through the dense forest. The darkness outside pressed in against the windows, swallowing the beams of my headlights as if hungry for more. My knuckles whitened against the steering wheel. A futile attempt to ground myself in the reality of the moment. I had taken this route countless times before, a shortcut through the woods to avoid the congestion of the main highway. But tonight, something felt different. The air was heavy with a palpable sense of unease, and every shadow seemed to dance with malicious intent. As I rounded a particularly sharp bend, my headlights caught a fleeting glimpse of something on the side of the road. A figure hunched and motionless, barely visible in the darkness. I slammed on the brakes, heart pounding in my chest, and the car skidded to a halt. For a moment, I sat frozen, unsure of what to do. Was it just a trick of the light? A trick of my imagination, fueled by the eerie atmosphere of the forest? But as I peered through the windshield, straining to see, I knew that it was real. Without conscious thought, I found myself opening the car door and stepping out onto the deserted road. The night air was cool against my skin, sending shivers down my spine as I approached the figure cautiously. It was a woman, or at least what appeared to be a woman. Her hair hung limp and tangled around her face, obscuring her features in shadow. She wore a tattered dress that clung to her emaciated frame, and her eyes, oh God. Her eyes were hollow voids that seemed to stare right through me. "Are you okay?" I called out tentatively, my voice echoing in the silence of the forest. There was no response, only the sound of the wind rustling through the trees. I took a step closer, reaching out a hand to touch her shoulder. But before I could make contact, she turned and vanished into the darkness. I stumbled backwards, heart racing with fear and confusion. What was she doing out here alone in the middle of the night? And where had she gone so quickly, as if she were never there at all? Shaken but determined to put the encounter behind me, I returned to my car and continued on my journey. But the feeling of unease lingered, gnawing at the edges of my mind like a persistent whisper. Minutes turned into hours as I drove deeper into the heart of the forest, the trees looming over me like silent sentinels. The road stretched out endlessly before me, a dark ribbon cutting through the blackness of the night. And then, without warning, disaster struck. A sudden gust of wind sent a tree branch crashing down onto the road ahead, blocking my path and bringing the car to a screeching halt. I cursed under my breath, hands trembling as I fumbled for my phone to call for help. But when I glanced down at the screen, my blood ran cold. No signal. Panic surged through me like a tidal wave as I realized the gravity of my situation. Stranded alone in the depths of the forest, with no way to call for help and no one to hear my cries. I had to get out of here, had to find help before it was too late. With trembling hands, I opened the car door and stepped out onto the deserted road once more. But as I scanned the darkness for any sign of salvation, I realized with dawning horror that I was not alone. The woman from before stood before me, her eyes gleaming in the darkness like twin orbs of pure malevolence. She reached out a hand towards me, her voice a whisper on the wind.
"Come with me,"
she said, her words sending a chill down my spine.
"Come with me and I will show you the way."
I wanted to run, wanted to scream for help, but something held me rooted to the spot. A primal instinct, ancient and instinctual, telling me that to follow her would mean certain doom. But before I could make a decision, she vanished once more into the shadows, leaving me alone in the darkness. And as the night closed in around me, swallowing me whole, I knew that I would never escape its clutches. For on the dark road, there is no turning back.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, like, and share if you enjoyed this video.